Cancer, you saw the title and you're probably thinking, wait, they actually laugh at me? Yes. Spirit is showing me someone who uses humor, sarcasm, or mockery as a shield because they're absolutely terrified of how deeply they feel for you. But here is the twist they don't want you to know. That laugh? It's nervous. It's a total deflection. Behind that teasing and that ego-driven smirk is a person who is losing their mind over you this September, realizing they messed up the only soul who actually sees their shadow. Before we pull these cards and expose exactly who this person is, tell me in the comments where you are watching from, and make sure you've liked and subscribed to claim this energy. Let's get into it. Cancer, listen to me. The energy right now is so incredibly heavy with the moon and this 1111 mirror frequency. Spirit is showing me that a massive cycle of illusion is finally breaking open for you this September. And honestly, it's happening because you did the hardest thing possible. You pulled back. You detached. You stopped trying to explain your beautiful, complex heart to someone who is busy laughing at it. I know how much that hurt. I'm not gonna lie, when I look at your energy, I see someone who has been carrying the entire emotional weight of this connection for months. You gave them your loyalty, your patience, your deep, nurturing Cancerian love. You tried to create a safe space for them to land. And what did they do? They deflected. They used sarcasm. They literally laughed off your vulnerabilities because they didn't know how to handle the sheer depth of what you were offering. You felt crazy, didn't you? You felt like your feelings were too much, or that you were being foolish for caring so deeply when they were treating it like a joke. But here is the shift, and this is where the energy completely flips in your favor. Because you finally said, enough, and you withdrew your energy, the entire dynamic shattered. See, they thought your love was a given. They thought your patience was infinite, and that you would always be there to absorb their emotional immaturity. But the moment you went quiet, the moment you stopped feeding their ego and validating their games, the laughter stopped. This person did not understand your worth until the energy changed. They thought your sensitivity was a weakness they could poke fun at to keep you off balance and keep the upper hand. But your silence? Your silence became a mirror. And now they are looking into it, and they are terrified of what they see. They realize that by mocking the very thing that made you special, they pushed away the only person who actually saw them. Spirit is showing me this person pacing right now, literally unable to sit still. They are replaying every single conversation where they made a joke at your expense, and now it's making them sick to their stomach. They are realizing that their humor was just a defense mechanism. They were deeply intimidated by your emotional intelligence. They laughed because if they didn't laugh, they would have had to feel the massive, overwhelming love you were projecting onto them, and they just weren't ready for that level of intimacy. But now the absence of your energy is deafening. They are feeling the coldness of their own jokes. You see, Cancer, when you pulled your beautiful, radiant energy back into yourself, you didn't just disappear. You ascended. And they can feel it. The shift in you is palpable. You went from being this open, giving, slightly anxious energy to someone who is grounded, mysterious, and completely unbothered. And that drives them absolutely insane. They are watching you. They are checking your socials. They are asking mutual friends. They are just observing from the shadows. Because the person who used to laugh at you is now deeply, profoundly fascinated by you. They can't figure out why you aren't chasing them anymore, and that mystery is pulling them in like a magnet. The ego that used to protect them is now the very thing isolating them. They built a wall of sarcasm to keep you at a safe distance, and now they are trapped behind it, banging on the walls, wondering how to get back to the warmth you provided. I need you to understand that their past behavior, the laughing, the teasing, the dismissal, was never about you being too much. It was about them being too small to hold your light. But karma is a beautiful thing, and this September, the universe is balancing the scales. They are feeling the exact weight of the emotional neglect they put you through. So, as we move deeper into this reading, I want you to hold on to this validation. You are not crazy. You are not foolish. You are loving a person who is spiritually asleep, and your withdrawal is the exact wake-up call they needed. Are you feeling this shift, Cancer? Because the cards are about to get even more specific about who this person really is, the external drama blocking them, and exactly what they are planning to do next. MHM, I'm so glad you're still here, Cancer, because the cards I am pulling for Chapter 2 are absolutely profound. Spirit is literally screaming right now, and I need you to brace yourself, because the veil is being lifted completely. I'm looking at the spread, and the first card that jumps out is the Moon. Oh, this is so incredibly accurate for your situation. The Moon is the card of illusions, hidden truths, and things operating in the shadows. And this is exactly what was happening with this person. They were operating in the shadows of their own fear. When they laughed at you, when they used that dismissive, sarcastic tone, it wasn't because you were foolish. It was because the Moon energy was clouding their judgment. They were terrified of the depth of their own feelings, so they created an illusion of indifference. They tried to convince themselves, and you, that this connection was just a joke, just something casual, just something they could control. But here is the beautiful, divine truth. The Moon also represents the subconscious mind, and right now, their subconscious is waking up. The illusion is shattering. The moonlight is finally piercing through the fog, and they are seeing the connection for exactly what it is, a profound, soul-level bond that they mishandled. And look at the energy surrounding you. I am seeing the Hermit card glowing so brightly around your aura. This is your glow-up, Cancer. This is your magnetic shift. The Hermit isn't about being lonely. It's about being selectively solitary. It's about withdrawing your light from people who only know how to blow it out and turning that light inward to heal your own soul. You didn't pull back to play a game. You pulled back because your beautiful, intuitive Cancerian spirit knew that you were pouring from an empty cup. You went inward. You did the shadow work. You cried the tears, you journaled, you prayed, and you slowly, quietly rebuilt your own foundation. And let me tell you, that Hermit energy is incredibly intimidating to someone who is still stuck in their ego. They're used to you being available, warm, and accommodating. Now, you are a mystery. You are a closed book, and they are desperately trying to figure out how to read you again. I'm not gonna lie, Spirit is showing me this person checking on you constantly. The Watcher dynamic is so strong right now. They are observing you from a distance, and it's driving them into a state of inner conflict. They see you glowing. They see you moving with a new sense of peace and quiet confidence, and it's making them realize exactly what they lost. Every time you don't reply, every time you seem unbothered, it echoes in their mind louder than any argument you could have ever had. Your silence is their loudest teacher right now. Psychologically, think about why someone would laugh at the very thing they desire. It's a defense mechanism. When we feel deeply vulnerable, when we feel like we are losing control of our emotions, we sometimes use humor or mockery to create distance. It's a way of saying, I can't be hurt by this if I don't take it seriously. But you saw right through that, didn't you? Your intuition has been whispering the truth to you for months. You knew their laughter was a shield. You knew their teasing was a cry for help disguised as arrogance. And, because you knew, you stopped playing along. You stopped validating their defense mechanism. And without your validation, their shield has become a prison. I'm also pulling the Five of Cups reversed, which is the energy of regret turning into a realization of what's still standing. They are looking at the spilled cups, the moments they mocked you, the times they dismissed your feelings, and they are feeling a deep, heavy remorse. But more importantly, they are looking at the two full cups still standing behind them, and they are realizing that those cups represent you. They are realizing that despite their immaturity, despite their jokes, you stayed for a long time. You offered them a love that was rare, unconditional, and deeply nurturing. And now, they're comparing every single interaction they have with anyone else to the safety and warmth you provided. And honestly, everyone else is falling short. They're realizing that the peace you brought to their chaotic life was not something they can just replace. This is a karmic mirror, my dear Cancer. The universe required them to experience the absolute void of your absence so they could finally understand the magnitude of your presence. They had to feel the coldness of their own jokes to understand the warmth of your heart. But listen to me closely. This realization is happening within them, but it does not mean you need to go back and rescue them from it. Your job is to stay in your hermit energy. Your job is to protect the sacred space you have created for yourself. You have elevated your vibration, and you cannot lower it again just because they are finally starting to catch up. They are watching you, yes. They are thinking about you, yes. They are feeling the weight of their own actions, absolutely. But you are no longer waiting in the wings for their approval. You are the main character of your own life now, and they are just a supporting actor who is finally reading the script and realizing they played their part all wrong. The shift is undeniable. The energy is moving. And as we go deeper into this reading, we have to talk about the external forces that are currently trying to hold them back, the third-party or ego-driven drama that is complicating their ability to just come forward and speak the truth. Because even though they are realizing their mistake, there is still something standing in the way. Are you ready to expose what's really blocking them, Cancer? Yes. Settle into this space with me, Cancer, because we are stepping right into the thick of it, and the cards are not holding back. As we move into this next layer of the reading, I need you to understand why, despite all this intense internal realization we just talked about, they haven't fully stepped forward yet. Spirit is showing me a very specific, heavy energy around them right now, and it's what I call external interference. There is noise around this person. There are external voices, opinions, and distractions that have been clouding their judgment and feeding their ego. I'm pulling the Seven of Swords here, and honestly, it's such a telling card. This is the energy of deception, but not always in the way you think. Sometimes, it's the deception we allow ourselves to believe because it's easier than facing the truth. For this person, there has been a chorus of outside voices, maybe friends, maybe a certain social circle, or even just the pervasive, toxic cultural narrative that says vulnerability is a weakness. These voices have been whispering in their ear, telling them that your depth was too much, that your need for emotional security was clingy, or that they should just keep things light, casual, and detached. And unfortunately, for a while, they listened. They used that external noise as a shield. When they laughed at you, when they made those dismissive jokes, part of it was a performance. They were trying to prove to this external audience and to themselves that they were in control, that they weren't caught up in you, that they could walk away at any time. They sacrificed a genuine, soul-deep connection just to maintain their cool, detached image in front of people who don't actually care about their happiness. But listen to me, Cancer, because this is where the divine justice kicks in. That interference is weakening. It is actively crumbling as we speak in this September energy. The universe has a funny way of exposing fake energy. The very people who encourage them to keep their guard up and mock your sincerity, they are being revealed. This person is starting to see that the advice they were given was terrible. They are realizing that the people who told them to just laugh it off are not the ones who will hold them when they are broken. The superficial connections they are trying to entertain right now feel incredibly hollow. They are comparing every single interaction, every shallow conversation, to the sacred sanctuary you provided. And everything else is falling painfully short. I'm not gonna lie, Spirit is showing me this person in a moment of absolute, crushing clarity. Maybe it's late at night, maybe they are driving alone, but suddenly, the noise stops. The Seven of Swords flips into the Ace of Swords energy, a sudden, piercing mental clarity that cuts right through the BS. They realize that they traded a diamond for cheap glass. They realize that the intensity they mocked was actually the most rare, beautiful, and stabilizing force in their life. They know they mishandled this connection. There is no more denial. The ego that was propped up by external validation is deflating, and what's left is just a very human, very regretful soul who misses their safe place. And you, Cancer, were their safe place. Think about the Queen of Cups energy that you embody. You are emotionally sovereign. You feel everything, but you are not ruled by the chaos of others. While they were running around trying to impress people who don't matter, you were building a foundation of self-respect. You were tending to your own garden. And now, they are standing outside that garden, looking over the fence, realizing they locked themselves out. This external drama, the gossip, the pride, the fear of looking weak to their peers, it's losing its grip on them because the pain of your absence has finally become greater than the fear of their own ego. They are starting to understand that true strength isn't about being detached or making jokes at someone else's expense. True strength is having the courage to say, I was wrong. I was scared. And I miss you. They're remembering the specific ways you loved them. The way you anticipated their needs. The way you held space for their shadows without judging them. They are realizing that your sensitivity was never a flaw. It was a superpower that they were simply too spiritually immature to handle. And now that they've had a taste of a world without your warmth, they are freezing. I want you to really let that sink in. The laughter was a mask. The distance was a defense. The external noise was an excuse. But the regret? The regret is real. The longing is real. And the realization that they let the best thing that ever happened to them slip through their fingers because they were too busy trying to look unbothered, that is eating them alive. But here is the most empowering part for you, Cancer. You do not have to fix this for them. You do not have to reach out and alleviate their guilt. Your silence is doing the heavy lifting. Your refusal to accept breadcrumbs is forcing them to confront the entire loaf. You are holding the boundary, and that boundary is the very thing that is catalyzing their awakening. They are watching you thrive without them, and it is the ultimate mirror. They see you glowing, they see you at peace, and they know, without a shadow of a doubt, that they are the ones who caused the disruption. They know they are the ones who have to make it right. The external interference is fading like a bad dream upon waking. The truth is standing in the light. And as this person's internal world completely reorganizes itself around the absence of your beautiful energy, they are being pushed toward a decision, a movement, a shift from silent observation to active, undeniable action. Are you ready to hear exactly what this next movement looks like and how the universe is orchestrating their return to you? Yes. Take a deep breath with me, Cancer, because we have arrived at the culmination of this energy. The veil is completely lifted, and what Spirit is showing me in this final chapter is nothing short of a divine realignment. We are looking at the Wheel of Fortune turning in your favor, and the Knight of Cups finally stepping out of the shadows. This is the moment of future movement we have been building toward. All that internal realization, all that crumbling of their ego and external interference, it is catalyzing a very specific, tangible action. I'm not gonna lie, Spirit is showing me a communication coming your way. And listen to me closely, this is not going to be a lazy, low-effort, late-night hey, or a random meme dropped into your DMs to test the waters. No, the energy around this is too heavy, too profound for that. This is going to be a genuine, vulnerable attempt to bridge the gap. They are going to reach out with an apology that actually owns their immaturity. They are going to confess what we already know, that their laughter, their teasing, their emotional distance was nothing but a frantic defense mechanism because they were absolutely terrified of how much you mattered to them. They are going to admit that they mishandled your heart and that the silence between you has been the loudest, most painful lesson of their life. Think about the psychological shift required for someone to do that. For a person who has been hiding behind sarcasm and pride to suddenly drop their armor and say, I was wrong, I was scared, and I missed the safety you brought me, that is a massive spiritual awakening. That is the shadow work finally taking root. But here is where your power lies, my beautiful Cancer. When this movement happens, you are not going to be the anxious, waiting, overgiving person you used to be. You have upgraded. You are operating in your highest sovereign energy now. When that message comes, or when that invitation is extended, you are going to feel a deep, intuitive calm. You won't feel the desperate need to immediately fix it or soothe their guilt. You will simply observe. You will hold your boundary. You will remember exactly how it felt to be undervalued, and you will require them to prove, through consistent, mature action, that they have truly done the work to deserve a seat at your table again. You hold the keys to the kingdom now. The dynamic has permanently shifted. You are no longer chasing, you are choosing. And that magnetic, Grounded energy is exactly what is pulling them back to you, but this time, it's on your terms. I want you to really let this reassurance sink into your bones. The cycle is shifting in your favor. September is historically a month of harvest for you, Cancer. It is the time when the seeds of the boundaries you set and the self-respect you cultivated finally begin to bear fruit. The universe does not whisper to you. It roars in your quiet moments, and it has been telling you all along that you are worthy of a love that honors your depth, not one that mocks it. Trust what you already feel intuitively. You have known the truth of this connection long before the cards confirmed it. You knew your worth even when they were too blind to see it. And now, the cosmos is simply catching up to the truth you have been holding in your heart. Protect your peace fiercely. Do not lower your vibration to accommodate someone else's delayed awakening. Let them do their work. Let them sit in the discomfort of their own regret. Your only job is to continue glowing, continue healing, and continue trusting that what is meant for you will never have to be forced, chased, or begged for. You are seen. You are validated. You are deeply, profoundly loved by the universe, and the right person will soon recognize that they are standing in the presence of something truly sacred. Thank you for allowing me to read this energy for you today. If this resonated with your soul, leave a comment below claiming the shift, and remember to like and subscribe to stay aligned with your highest path. Until next time, protect your light, Cancer. You are exactly where you need to be.